The minister says the economy is performing reasonably well at mid-year, but not as it should, and this is because of the dismal performance of some sectors. He added that because of this reality, a decision was taken to adjust the economic growth rate from that which was earlier predicted.
The economy has been doing reasonably well. I say reasonably because we're still having setbacks as it relates to sugar. In fact, I had made a prediction at the Caribbean Development Bank meeting about a couple of weeks ago in Grenada that we had revised the growth rate downwards from 3.8 for the 2018 to 3.4. And this was principally due to the fact that our outlook for sugar has become even more bleak relative to the position that we had in November 2017 when we were presenting the 2018 budget. It's unfortunate, but sugar seems to be declining before it can actually stabilize.
Mr. Jordan says even with the sugar sector's continued poor performance, the government never allowed that situation to place a damper on the other production targets. He noted that in the case of rice, which performed well at the first half of 2017, this sector is expected to do a lot better at the end of 2018.
We had a bit of a scare with bauxite after the sanctions that were imposed by the United States. There seems to be a moratorium on the sanctions to October of this year, by which time hopefully the sanctions will either disappear or the situation will improve and not affect bauxite output and the targets that we had set. We seem to have good performances in a number of the other sectors, so to speak. So at this stage, the overall 3.4 for the year is what we are holding to.
The minister says by the time the mid-year report is out, which is scheduled to be released in July, then it will be known definitively how things are shaping up for the remainder of the year. He also addressed the question about the ministry's ability to forecast economic growth rate. This is in light of the fact that the economic growth rate in Guyana had been revised downwards in the previous 2 consecutive years.
Our ability to forecast growth rate is always dependent on the information that we get from the various sectors, both public sector and the private sector. Lest we think that only the public sector has a problem with forecasting their production numbers. The private sector also, we have issues getting accurate data out of the private sector in a number of areas. So and sometimes we have to use proxy information, sometimes we have to use our own estimation, and so on.
Last year, there was a significant decrease in the gold declaration, coupled with the poor performance of the sugar sector, which caused the economy to underperform. Roy Dan James, HGP Nightly News.